In spite of threats on his life since his 60-minute appearance, the opposition leader says his focus remains the CBI's impact on Dominican lives. Ambassador Vince Henderson seeks to clarify whether or not government was invited on last Sunday's 60-minute program. And squatting continues as Portsmouth residents await regularization at Georgetown. I'm Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details after this. Opposition leader Lennox Linton told the UWP news conference Friday that while a lot of the focus has been on him since his CBS 60-minute interview, it's really not about him but about the well-being of the country. Linton says notwithstanding the changes over the years, Dominica has had a CBI program since 1991, but millions have been collected and he is interested in the impact that the program has had on the lives of citizens.
With all the talk that you hear now about how wonderfully well the program is doing, and there's some signs that the revenue has picked up, the question is, what have all those hundreds of millions supposedly received over the years done for the people of Dominica? In terms of creating sustainable jobs, in terms of giving them a better quality of life, because at the end of the day, that is what we in the United Workers' Party stand for. We have never been opposed to the idea of citizenship by investment. But we have always seen citizenship by investment as a means of expanding the talent pool for entrepreneurial activity by bringing our global citizens on board with us in Dominica in an effort to improve who we are and what we are. And that is why it disturbs us in the United Workers' Party that so many things that can be done around the country are not being done, notwithstanding the boasts of the millions and millions we're making from the sale of our citizenship.
Meantime, Prime Minister Skerritt has made reference to certain areas where CBI money is being spent.
The entire resettlement of Piddisavan, 381 homes, including infrastructure, including a health center and community facilities and a market and a playing field and a basketball court. This will be financed entirely by the CBI. Entirely by the CBI. The whole reconstruction post-Erica has been financed. We just approved, for example, ratified today in Cabinet, close to $6 million from the CBI that was going to finance the NEP for the next 6 months. So the country depends on the CBI like all of the countries in the OECS.
Dominica's ambassador to the U.S., Vince Henderson, has expressed a disappointment that a CBS 60-minute feature on Dominica's citizenship by investment program did not have any government representation. Opposition leader Lennox Linton told a news conference on Friday, called by his United Workers' Party, that Dr. Henderson was contacted by CBS. Henderson is seeking to clarify the matter. He did not deny this, but indicated he was not recontacted to be interviewed for the production.
Someone contacted me, seeking to basically indicating that they wanted to do a piece on our program and that they would have some discussions and so. I provided them with as much information as I could, and also made myself inform them that I would be available if they wish to do an interview. I also gave them the contact information of several, players in the industry. Not all necessarily friends of Dominica, but they're all familiar with Dominica's program. Some of them were agents and promoters, but had a great knowledge of the industry, and I felt that they would be in a better position to provide information on this as well. I also gave them the contact information of developers, people like Range Developments, who almost complete their project in St. Kitts, the Park Hyatt, and have started the Kempinski Cabrits Resort. And so all of this was provided to them. And unfortunately, at some point, I didn't hear from them, so I thought the matter died. And suddenly, I saw the preview. I find it was a bit unfortunate that we did not get that opportunity to have those people. Not necessarily, perhaps they may not want to have me. Maybe they think that perhaps because of my position that I am obligated to have a particular position. But they also knew the position of the leader of the opposition because they informed me that they had read the Huffington Post piece. and the accusations made by the leader of the opposition.
And Prime Minister Skerrit has addressed concerns raised by opposition leader Lennox Linton that his life has been threatened since he appeared on the CBS 60-minute segment on Dominica's CBI program. Mr. Linton held a news conference on Friday where he vowed to take action against statements in a video by a Dominican in the UK calling him a traitor who should be executed. The opposition leader has also sought the protection of the police for his family because of the threats on his life. While Mr. Linton blames the Labour Party, the Prime Minister insists his party's leadership has never encouraged supporters to resort to violence.
I do not know the gentleman who has made the threatening statements about Mr. Linton. He's not a member of the party, he's not a minister of government. If Mr. Linton has evidence to show that a minister of government or a member of my party is orchestrating attacks on him, then he should go to the police and name these people. Because it's a serious threat, it's a serious allegation. And if you are the leader of the opposition and you go into the public and say that you know for a fact, then as a responsible citizen, you should go to the police and make a report to the CID desk or the front desk of the police so that they can investigate the matter formally. But this is just a distraction Mr. Linton is putting in. This is just a distraction. It's just an attempt to move away from what he has done to this country.
Mr. Skerrit says the opposition has failed to condemn threats against himself and his family.
This party has always been a party of peace in our country. And every time I spoke in the public, especially in our campaign, I always told people to look the other way if trouble reaches you. And never engage ourselves in any confrontation with anybody. Never have you heard me or any of my ministers indicate to anybody or the leadership of the Labour Party that we should attack anybody. And we condemn fully and with no reservation any statements being made or threatening the lives of anybody in the country. But Mr. Linton must try to speak the truth and be consistent with the truth. Because there are several statements that have been made about attacking myself, kidnapping my children. They know where I am. They say I drive myself in vehicles on my constituency, and which days I go there. People have called their programs and say things that they should take out Skerrit, but they have never condemned it.
In police news, a body which was discovered in a precipice in St. Joseph on December 30 has been identified as 30-year-old Chris Blah. According to police PRO Pelham John Baptist, the body was partly decomposed when it was found on Thursday. The matter is now being investigated as a suspected homicide. In other police news, Coolibri Street resident Lennox Charles, better known as Brother Lennox, has been reported missing as of Wednesday. Reports indicate that he went to work on a farm and never returned. He's about 5 feet tall, light brown in complexion with grey hair. Anyone with information, please call the CID at 266-51464, 266-5165 or Crime Stoppers Dominica at 1-800-8477. You're watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more news for you after the break. Thank you for staying with us. Portsmouth people occupying lands at Georgetown Estate remain in limbo as they continue to squat in the area. Idona John Baptist has that story.
Widespread squatting on the Georgetown Estate at Glenville since residents insisted in 2013 that the land promised by government was due to them. The warnings of Prime Minister Skerrit that their act is unlawful have gone unheeded. 3 years later, people continue to squat on the Georgetown Estate, but without public utilities like water and electricity. We observed about 15 structures on the land, however most of the residents were at work. The purple structure belongs to a family whom we've been told left the island. The land was handed over to Dominica's government by Gist Industries many years ago for expansion of Glenville. Government had identified 10 acres of land in 2013 there to sell for the people of Glenville. There are also private lands on the southern side of the Georgetown Estate and another portion belonging to the Port Authority. Actually, government had also given Portsmouth residents the opportunity to apply for land at Cotton Hill and Mountain in the north to address their housing situation. However, some of the Glenville squatters have not just built houses on the Georgetown estate, they're doing small-scale agricultural farming too. One of those is Melvin James, who lives in the area with his girlfriend and toddler son.
We're comfortable with the area and whatsoever else that happening. We like the area. We work for our land, we clean it up, we put it comfortable, and we live in there right now. Only thing we need is just a little light and water so that everything will be flowing all right.
James considers that since he has made an effort to help himself, the authorities should be willing to cooperate with him.
We'll cooperate with the government and we're willing to pay for it. You understand me?
How do you get by without the public utilities?
Well, we carry water from the public pipe, river, when rainfall, our drums will full from our roof and stuff like that. That's the only way we could make it out.
The property has already been subdivided by the Lands and Surveys Division. Parliamentary representative for Portsmouth, Ian Douglas, has told Channel 5 News that there is a computer-generated subdivision showing exactly where roads will go and how the lots will be separated. Idona John-Baptist reporting for Channel 5 News.
And the Division of Forestry is reporting a decline in the number of hunting permits issued last year, but officials say this is no reason for a sigh of relief for Dominica's wildlife population. Kenny Williams reports.
The hunting season runs from 1st October to 31st December each year, and during that time, agouti, manikou, ramye, that is the red-necked pigeon, crab and crayfish, are on the approved for hunting list. Forest officer in the Division of Forestry says despite the slight decline in hunting and fishing licenses sold, there is still concern for the level of illegal hunting of the country's wildlife.
If there are less persons coming for hunting license, that means there isn't too much exploitation of the wildlife in the forest reserves, etc. But when there's a dramatic decrease as well, it gives us to think that based on complaints that we get, there are increased numbers of illegal hunters. We get information that persons are hunting, they continue hunting. We try to attack the different areas where they do. Sometimes we may see signs of it, but I don't know if the persons are becoming a bit more clever in the way they do the illegal hunting, that they probably monitor what times that we go there. We go on irregular and regular times. Sometimes we see signs, but not all the times we catch persons in the act.
Export permits are being issued until the end of January, and this will allow people to leave the country with wild meat. Mafi is cautioning the public that no permits will be issued past 31st January.
If they come for a permit to export in February or March, I mean the time has passed. We are not allowed to do that.
Would they then be reported or penalized? Would that be considered illegal activity?
Well, we'd use our judgment on that point of view. Based on data collection, the most exported wildlife from Dominica is the crabs, and second, the agoutis.
Mafi warns that there are two species which must not be hunted for or poached at any time.
A lot of people probably they are not aware that the iguana is not a gaming species. It's not on the list. It's not supposed to be hunted at no times. The turtles is a no-no as well. The turtle, a lot of people are engaged in the illegal poaching of turtles, but that one is just a no-no.
The hunting season and permit allow for the legal hunting of wildlife in the forest reserves and private land, but not in the national parks. The national parks being the Morne Topiton and Morne d'Ablote National Parks. Kenny Williams, Channel 5 News.
And crime continues to threaten the well-being of tourism in Calibishi. Idona John-Baptist reports.
Home to few of the island's exquisite white sand beaches, offering tranquility at its best, amongst people who appreciate the essence of hospitality is what Calibishi represents. Guest houses, seaside restaurants and vehicle rental companies are among the businesses established there. Tourism has been a driver of the northeastern community's economic development, an unspoiled region of the island as it's considered, but chairman of the village council there, John Peters, fears crime continues to threaten the well-being of their tourism sector.
It evolved from over the years. I would say our foreparents, and they were the ones who instilled in us and those before us the hospitality welcome people into your community. People choose to purchase property and build and so on. And so that in a sense is a form of income to the community. We have our local persons still working at the guest houses, at the restaurants and so on. So it's a form of employment for the community. And we can say so far that we have the most white population on island, I mean residing on island. We normally refer to them as the expats. And we can say we have that. We want to protect them and we want them to feel secure in Kalibishi.
A generally peaceful community has become a target, according to Peters, for especially robberies.
My concern was more really of some recent break-ins and so that happened in the community. I find it was a little too high in terms of the break-ins in the community and stuff and things and so on, and so on. And so that in a sense was one of the major aspect during the season. One of the things the tourists like here for again is for our beaches, right? And you must have heard about certain things that happened on our beaches in the recent past. And I would like to see that the beaches roads are properly maintained, so that you don't have your vehicle parked on the roadside, making perpetrators know that you're down on the beach and your vehicle back on the roadside and you have maybe 1 or 2 miles to go inland, you know? It's not to say, well, Kalibishi is the only place it's happening. But I can tell people that Kalibishi is a target based on the amount of activities that we have with the tourists coming in. Because every day we have tourists walking on the streets.
A community policing program was introduced to Kalibishi last year, and while Peters is assured of the police presence, he'd also like residents and business owners to be on their guard.
And one other thing I'd like to encourage is to have surveillance cameras and things of that sort, so that you protect yourself and your property. Also, there are persons who know that some of the perpetrators or know some of the criminals. Please come out and talk and say. Give us the information as to how these things are, because at the end of the day, it's bread from our mouth.
Channel 5 News understands the police are investigating all recent reports of robberies in Kalibishi. Idona Jean-Baptiste, Channel 5 News.
That's news. Sports is next with Kenny Williams. We begin with Division 1 football, where Skerrit Northeast defeated Exodus Football Club 4-0 at Benjamin's Park on Thursday. Home advantage favored Dublin FC when they beat Haitian Angels 3-2, and the game between Police Sports Club and St. Mary's Cooperative Credit Union Dublin Football Club was called off. Matches continue on Saturday, where Andy Williams Spartans will battle Club Loubier at the Poirier Playing Field from 4 p.m., while on Sunday, Element Agency's LA Stars will come up against East Central at Castleboo's Playing Field from 3 in the afternoon. Meantime, in the DFA Flow Premier League on Saturday, it will be a clash of the Petro Caribe Point Michel and the Northern Concrete and Steel Bomber teams at Geneva from 3 p.m. At 4, it will be a match between Caribbean Cool Harlem United and Dublin FC. Finally, on Sunday, Sajigo Southeast will battle Wacky Rollers at Dublin Playing Field at 4 p.m. And Bath Estate FC will go up against Exodus FC at Geneva at 3 p.m. In cricket, Pakistan required another 410 runs with 9 wickets remaining at the end of Day 4 of the test against Australia. Resuming from 271 for 8 on Thursday, Pakistan was bowled out for 315 in the first innings. Yunis Khan scored the most for his team with 175, including 17 fours and 3 sixes, while Azhar Ali supported with 71. In reply, Australia scored 241 for 2 declared, Usman Khawaja 79 not out, Stephen Smith 59 and David Warner 55. Pakistan reached 55 in the second innings with 40 from S. Khan. Meantime, we can tell you that New Zealand won the second T20 against Bangladesh by 47 runs on Friday. New Zealand first at the crease reached 195 for 7 in their 20 overs.
Colleen Marino smashed a century, adding 101 for the Zealanders, while Tom Bruce supported with 59. Set 196 for victory, the Bangladesh team fell short and were bowled out for 148 in 18.1 overs. The Bangladesh batsman with the highest figures in that match was S. Rahman with 48. New Zealand led the three-match series 2-0. Next up, another sport out of the doldrums, as major plans are on the cards for the Dominica Bodybuilders Association and Physical Culture this year. This according to President of the local body, Emmanuel Loblack.
We put a sporting activity together for the 27th of this month at the Albach House of Culture. Now this thing, you have first of all Mr. and Miss Fitness, which entails push-ups, dips and chins. Miss Fitness would do push-ups, dips and bench press. Now we have Mr. Strongman, which would be deadlift, squat and bench press.
The event is expected to have key features that should help bring more exposure to the sport here.
The highlight of the night will be Mr. Flex. Now Mr. Flex itself is one category competition. The people come and pose and we want to reactivate and give the young bodybuilders the assurance that the sport is alive and there will be continuity come 2017, and hoping that we can move to the region and to the field. Also, there will be a demonstration by the Universal Martial Arts Academy, that is Sensei Robin, who just from China.
There has been an increased number of youth interested in the sport over time, and the president felt the need to revamp the sport.
A number of youngsters are back into weight training, and they have been at me to reorganize the association since our president died, Mr. John Charles died a few years ago. So I decided that something must be done. Because I am seeing the increase in so many of youngsters involved in bodybuilding, weight training,
The Bodybuilders Association was reformed in late 2016. And the president of the Dominica Football Association, Glenn Etienne, says recent changes in the FIFA administration have retarded the progress of the Goal 2 project. Goal 2 has seen a number of delays over the years and has been a concern of the football community here.
The delay at the Goal 2 was no fault of the DFA. We are aware of the changes at FIFA last couple of months, and that set back not just Dominica, I think the entire football world, in the sense that some persons were not in the same position at FIFA, and well, from what I understood, the new persons wanted to start from scratch. One of the mails we got from FIFA was we did not have enough time, although we had 18 years balance on the list, but FIFA was saying they would work only with countries with 30 years list on the project. I must say thanks to the government of Dominica. As soon as we got the mail from FIFA, the DFA started working vigorously, and the government extended the list to us for 50 years.
He says the DFA now has its eyes locked on the Forward FIFA project.
Everything have changed from FIFA in terms of there's no more goal project, but it's going to be Forward FIFA. So under the Forward program, they give you a certain money for infrastructural development. I believe the DFA should put audit allowance in the goal project, because we've been saying a number of times that we're going to play football. So whatever allowance that FIFA is going to give under the Forward project, in terms of the infrastructure, we will definitely put our funding at the goal project. We have already started most of the work already. When I mean most of the work, the lighting contracts were signed, the grassing was signed. The only additional stuff we're working on it now was the additional nets, ball nets, because the area you need to have additional ball nets, and the railings on the stand and the referee squatters downstairs. But other than that, most of the work in terms of what wants to be done has been identified.
That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Do have yourself an awesome weekend.
Your weather forecast is next.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am Janet Macpherson. A high-pressure system was the dominant feature today, resulting in generally fair weather conditions across the eastern Caribbean. Visible satellite imagery showed just a few low-level clouds across Dominica today. Radar imagery indicated no shower activity across Dominica this afternoon. The weather for tonight: partly cloudy to cloudy, and breezy with a few scattered showers. These conditions are expected to continue into tomorrow. Temperatures peaking up to 30 degrees Celsius. Seas tomorrow moderate in open water, waves peaking up to 8 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers are advised to exercise caution. Looking ahead for the next 3 days, expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies and some scattered showers. Breezy conditions are expected on Saturday. Throughout the Caribbean tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers expected throughout the region, with thunderstorm activity expected across the extreme southern portion of the islands. On the international cities forecast, snow and some cold temperatures expected in New York, thunderstorm activity for Miami and Caracas, fog expected in London, and clear skies for Beijing. Sunrise tomorrow at 6:34 a.m. and the sunset at 5:50 p.m. For up-to-date weather information, visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and have a good weekend.
To end the news, the headlines again. In spite of threats on his life since his 60-minute appearance, the opposition leader says his focus remains the CBI's impact on Dominican lives. Ambassador Vince Henderson seeks to clarify whether or not government was invited on last Sunday's 60-minute program, and squatting continues as Portsmouth residents await regularization at Georgetown. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. To our viewers around the world, thank you for watching.